Hello?
Jean, you know every time I call you, it's always about something good.
What going on?
Well, the TDC retail stores in St. Kitts and Nevis are at it again. Their new stocks have arrived.
Really?
Yes, new furniture, printers, toys, appliances, electronics, housewares, even decorations, and so much more. New is in.
So, girl Betty, when we going?
You know me, I don't miss a beat when it comes to TDC. I'm getting ready to go to TDC Automotive, the Business Center, and the Home and Building Depot now. And next week, we're definitely going over to CDS Nevis to see what they have over there too.
Betty, me I'm here. Betty, you gone?
Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to another edition of Voices here on 1FM 98.9. Today is Wednesday, November 18, 2020. It's a beautiful day, and it's really good to be in the land of the living. You know, waking up, you just got to give thanks for life and give thanks for good health and good strength. And so, yes, welcome to another edition of Voices. Good morning to our usual and first-time listeners. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am your host for today, Devon Cornelius, and we are going to head right into our discussions. But just before we do that, I just want to give a shout-out to all the hard-working frontline workers out there. I believe that every chance we get, we need to commend them for the hard work that they do and they continue to do to protect us from the COVID-19 pandemic, of course, to our security forces, of course, to those persons in everyday life in the community who continue to play a very important role and very significant role in making sure that our nation continues to do well in terms of managing the COVID-19 pandemic. So good morning to you, and continue to do what you're doing, and I hope that you are having a good day. This is another edition of Voices here on 1FM 98.9. So we are talking about the COVID-19 vaccine, which the health professionals all across the world, they are racing to find a cure, or a vaccine rather, for this COVID-19 virus that has really caused, I can't even find a word to describe the damage that COVID-19 has really done. And so health professionals, of course, they are across the world, finding and rushing to get a cure available for our people. I think this is quite a significant achievement. Many persons have been looking forward to this, but it begs the question: whenever this vaccine is ready, does that mean the end of the pandemic? Does that mean the end of COVID-19? These are questions that people will ask. Would the vaccine be available to everybody? Is the vaccine safe? Of course it will have side effects and all of that, but it also begs the question: is it mandatory? Do you have to take the COVID-19 vaccine, or you have that option of saying, look, I don't want that virus, I don't want that vaccine, I don't think it's safe, so I'm not going to take it, my children are not going to take it, and so we're not going to be a part of that whole thing. But this is what we'll be talking about today, and of course I'll be entertaining your calls and your opinions, and tell me what you think. Do you think that this vaccine, I keep saying virus, COVID-19 virus, do you think that this vaccine is legit or legitimate? Do you think it should be mandatory, or do you think persons should be given that option of saying, look, I don't want the virus, I don't want the vaccine, or I want the vaccine? So I think it's going to be a very interesting discussion, because COVID-19 has been here since March, and every day you wake up, you hear something about COVID-19, whether it be on the TV, on the radio, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on all social media platforms. You hear about this COVID-19 virus. And now we have a vaccine, and it is reported that it is about 95% effective. 95% effective with no major effects. Ooh, or side effects. Okay. Well, we have our first call. Good morning, caller. You're on Voices. Caller, good. We seem to have lost that call. We're still taking calls here on 1FM 98.9 for another edition of Voices. We're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine and the COVID-19 virus and the race that is happening between countries around the world. Persons are anticipating the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. But again, is it the end? We have another call. We have a first call, sorry. Good morning, caller. You're on Voices.
Good day, how are you?
I'm doing quite fine, and you?
Me well, man.
Great. Give thanks for life.
I would like you to help me if you in a position to. Tell me something. With regards to this vaccine, I'm going on prior information. To date, they keep saying that this thing that they call the virus, the COVID virus, keeps changing. It's mutating. And up to now, they cannot have the hang of what it is really. So tell me, if they don't have full knowledge of how this thing operates, what is going to metamorphosize into the next minute or day or week, how can persons be convinced that there is a vaccine for it? How are you going to convince persons that there is a vaccine for it if they, up to now, they don't know what they are dealing with? So what is this vaccine all about? Next, let's assume then that they indeed have a vaccine for what is said is the COVID virus. There are other countries. You have like Brazil, you have like Cuba, you have, I think, one or two countries in Africa who have come up with a vaccine, they say, that is effective against this virus. What now are we to say to that? We are told, it seems like, I don't know whether it's Europe or America, and all of these different companies that are named, that are called out, you know, it's like whether Europe or America or persons of, you know, that kind. Whose will take precedence? What is this going to be like? Persons talking about mandatory, whether it is mandatory. Who will decide that it will be mandatory? And for whom? Because how they're going to deal with the vaccine in Brazil, in Cuba, Nigeria, or wherever else, what are they going to do? They're going to overshadow these persons and say whatever these persons have is not real? Are they going to launch some sort of propaganda attack on what they have to scare people into accepting what they have? How is this thing going to be? I really don't know. But you see, if there's a vaccine, I mean, I could understand that things have to happen, deaths have to happen, because they want to, whatever it is, they want to accomplish. Well, I guess deaths have to be kept up and infections have to be kept up. Because if the vaccine is the agenda, then, you know, the world has to still be scared of whatever is purported to be out there. I don't know. I would like to hear what you have to say.
Thank you, caller. And those are some very good questions, and these are questions that people are asking every day. What I would say, I mean, of course, these are questions for the health professionals, persons who are more versed in that area. But in terms of who will decide that the vaccine should be mandatory, that's a very good question. I can honestly say I don't know. I guess it's up for the health authorities here in St. Kitts and Nevis, or whether it's CARFA or WHO, Ministry of Health. And you raised a very important point. The vaccine has, the virus, sorry, has been evolving. Because when this COVID-19 virus came around, we first heard that it only affects older people. And then we heard that it only affects younger people. Then we heard that it only affects people middle-aged. And so you realized over the past few months, the virus has been growing and evolving, and as you rightly said, mutating. And so it begs the question, does this vaccine, or will this vaccine be appropriate or adequate, or does it have the necessary strength, let me say that, to combat or to go up against the COVID-19 virus? I mean, I don't believe that it should be mandatory. That is just my opinion. I don't believe that it should be mandatory. You should not force things onto people like that. One of my questions that I have asked and will continue to ask, how will we know that this thing is safe? So we're being told there's a vaccine and you must take it. No, of course you can't force things onto people and say, look, this is mandatory and you have to take it. Persons should be given that choice, whether they would want to take the vaccine or they would want to say, I don't want to be a part of anything like that. And so these are questions that we all have these questions. We all continue to ask these questions. But one of your questions, Carl, that really stood out was the one about, the virus definitely keeps evolving. And I guess that the health professionals, those persons who are the scientists, they are the ones that would, of course, monitor this virus, and then they will begin their re-evaluation of the vaccine that they now have, and they will add to it or take away from it or do whatever they have to do to make sure that this vaccine is effective. But I don't believe that you should force it onto people. Persons should be given that chance to say, look, I don't want to take this vaccine because I don't feel safe doing so. I don't feel safe taking this vaccine. And then you have those persons who will say, I want to take this vaccine because I want to make sure that all goes well. But at the same time, you don't know. I mean, I read an article that says that it is 95% effective with no major side effects. So, of course, there are side effects. Every drug has a side effect. But everybody is different. Your immune system is different. Your body is different. And people will react differently to the vaccine if taken. And so one of your side effects may be maybe you lose some weight, and then somebody might lose some hair. You might have I don't know. The side effects will definitely be different because everybody is different. But these questions are being asked every single day. One of the questions that I have asked: does this mean the end of the COVID-19 virus? Does it mean the end of this whole pandemic? Does it mean the end of wearing face masks? Of course, it's not the end of washing your hands. Please continue to wash your hands. But does it mean the end of wearing face masks and following all of these protocols? Of course, this pandemic or this virus will not last forever. But we don't know how long it will last for. The Spanish flu in 1918 killed just about 50 million people. 50 million persons died in 1918 from the Spanish flu virus. How many persons will die from COVID-19? I think it has taken more than 1 million lives. And there is some similarities between the COVID-19 and the Spanish flu. But we have another call. Good morning, caller. You are on Voices.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Today is a beautiful day. I'm giving thanks for life.
Yes, we do all do have to give thanks for life, considering what is up against humanity.
Definitely.
Yeah, and like you use the word evolution or things evolve, I guess I can coin the phrase instead of the vaccine has evolved from a pandemic to a pandemic. There is something sinister about it. But long time the signs were there as to who would be the vulnerable groups of persons when a vaccine would become available that would be first targeted. And so it's not ironic to me, but it should be a wake-up call, Those who are asleep, they should be fast awake, awake to what is going on. Because like your last caller said, and she elucidated facts of other countries that are developing vaccines to meet their objectives also. And none of them would have taken into the equation all of the evolution that we have seen dispensed over the past couple of months, let's say. And so that is something to be taken into real consideration. When the new book that the Prime Minister had made his announcement about the vaccine, I ran into a gentleman and he said, well, you have to travel and, the traveling. I am of the perspective that there is nothing that is going to stop the great plan of the Great One. And I physically want to travel to my holy land, the motherland, the continent, and nothing is going to stop the exodus. There is an exodus to reclaim your birthright. And every fig, like Mrs. Henry would say, will find its fig tree at one point or the other. And if the time is right for this fig, like myself and others, to make the exodus, so be it. And nothing is going to disrupt that plan, because the Great One is the greatest of all planners. So I can assure you folks out there that even though things seem impossible and there's an imminent threat that, yes, our people is going to be the vulnerable group that are going to be first targeted, and we are going to be on the verge of extinction, be assured that the Great One would not allow it to happen. It has never happened in the past. Yes, there will be casualties. Yes, I will say what I will coin, there will be martyrs, but we will succeed and we will succeed. So that's just my plan, because there are others who are racing to the finishing line to come out with the vaccine. But plans are sinister, but be assured, it will never happen to us. Has never happened and will never happen. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, caller, for your input here on Voices. We are still taking calls here, and we're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine and virus. There is a race for this vaccine, and many persons are anticipating the end of the pandemic. Well, let me not say many persons, everybody. Well, no, let me say many persons, because you have some people that they don't want this virus to go anywhere. So, I mean, this is what's happening right now. Everybody is talking about the COVID-19 vaccine, and every day you look on the news, you see something about COVID. But right now, the focus is on the vaccine. The Prime Minister announced last Sunday that the government made a down payment for the vaccine. I think he said it was more than $800,000 for the vaccine. My question is, just before that, we have a call. Good morning, caller. You're on Voices.
Good morning, Brother Cornelius. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. And you?
Okay, I'm glad you're good. I'm good too.
Great.
Right. This is where I look at things, Brother Cornelius. When some of us have a pain and we body, a lot of us like to go and take medication. Who ain't taking paracetamol, taking Tylenol, Fensic, Visa, all kind of thing? We don't know what really caused it and what could solve the problem. But because the scientists put out that, and they say, well, this is for that pain, and this is for pain, and that for pain, we go and we take them. So therefore, we are depending on the knowledge from the scientists with certain things, but that it is not mandatory that you have to take them. When you're in the hospital and the doctor says, look, we have to have surgery for this and that, but you're going to need some blood for that. You have the choice whether to take the blood or not. And I know some religion that do not believe in accepting blood from people, blood transfusion. So because they don't believe in that, they will tell the doctor, no, we don't take the blood, we want the blood. The doctor says, well, brother, it's up to you. If you take the blood, it will be better for you. If you don't take the blood, well, something else will happen. So when it comes down that, nationally, no government in the world, they could put the law as mandatory, but no government could make an individual take the vaccine if that individual don't want it. So it boils down to you to accept or not to accept. Simple as that. Because there are many laws in the world and the books, and the laws are there to govern the whole country, but it's not everybody abiding by the law. Well, if they come down now and say, well, look, if you don't abide by this law, this and that will happen to you. That is law. Well, it's up to you still. So it still boils up to the individual, decision. Because I know for sure there are certain things medically I refuse to take them there. I refuse to take them because I do not believe in certain things. But when it comes to natural medication, like, let me go down here now, with the best medication is simply why we allow nothing better than that day. Nothing. But you have to know how to take it and how much to take when you're taking it. But nobody could mandatory. Look at the plane when you're going on an airline. The new law, all because of the Twin Towers incident what happened up there. They demand, well, you take off your shoes, you take off your belt, and you empty your pockets. If you refuse to do what they say, where you don't go up on the plane, you stay home here, or you go up on a boat. But once you want to go on that plane, then you have to comply. Still, like I say, boil down to you, your own decision. And whatsoever, whether they know about this vaccine, yes or not, that is not the point. The point is that everybody trying to see if we could survive this corona here. So when they come up with whatsoever they have, say, boy, this year, we try this and it's 95% good. It's up to you. But nobody want dead. Not a mortal or not who want dead. Unless they commit suicide. So all who don't want to dead, they may go and try it as well as they may not. Thank you, Brother Cornelius.
Thank you, caller, for your input here on Voices on 1FM 98.9. We are still taking your calls. We're talking about this COVID-19 vaccine, COVID-19 virus. Yes, it's been here for nearly a year, more than 8 months going on, but it's a meaningful and healthy discussion talking about the vaccine and whether it should be mandatory or you give persons that chance to say, look, I don't want to this vaccine. I don't want to be a part of anything like this. But I agree with that caller. Sometimes if we feel a little ache there and here, we rush to take all these medication and all these things. I mean, I am not a health professional, so I can't tell you don't take the vaccine because I don't know what your situation may be. But my opinion is that you can't force people to do things that they don't want to do. If I have a headache and I prefer to drink some bush tea, let me drink my bush tea. I don't want any paracetamol or any Advil or Tylenol or all these crazy drugs. I prefer to go with something that I am comfortable with. We are still taking calls as we approach this 12 o'clock hour. But just before we do that, we're going to take a short break to acknowledge our sponsors, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Feel the magic happening.
Campari.
Taste. Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Are you wondering what to do this holiday season? Will it be the same? Will you be able to give your family all that they need? Well, with TDC Financial Services, all your holiday woes will disappear. You can get up to $35,000 unsecured for your holiday needs. Give us a call at 465-6516 or 469-5430 to find out how we can help to make your holidays happier for you and your family. TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Welcome back to Voices here on 1FM 98.9. I am your host for today, Devon Cornelius, and we are continuing our discussion about the COVID-19 vaccine, COVID-19 virus. It is something that we have been grappling with since the start, since March of this year. Many persons are still, trying to get accustomed. I don't think you could ever get accustomed to this whole COVID-19 situation. We had people losing their jobs, their livelihoods. And so the pandemic really, it caused some havoc here in our beautiful Caribbean nation, in right here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and of course across the world. But now there's a race for the COVID-19 vaccine. There's a race for the COVID-19 vaccine, and we are being told that it is 95% effective with no major side effects. I saw that in an article on New York Times. But I still stand with my opinion, my sentiment that you can't force people to do these things. You can't force people to take something that they don't want to take. At the same time, everybody is different. Everybody's different. And so this is what we're talking about, and we are still entertaining your calls. It is now 11:47. We're going to break at 12 o'clock for the news, and we are going to return for the second half of Voices. But we are still taking calls, and we are talking about this COVID-19 situation, of course, with the vaccine being our main focus. Now, as I said earlier, in any drug there is side effects. There are side effects. There are side effects, and before you take any drug, you would say, "Well, okay, I'm taking this drug to cure this, but what would happen to me after?" And so, if persons are being encouraged to take the vaccine, of course there are going to be some side effects. But the questions that we want answered are that, okay, is it safe? And who will be able to determine whether this vaccine is safe? Do we depend on our local health authority, the Ministry of Health here in St. Kitts and Nevis? Do we depend on the Caribbean Public Health Agency, our CAFA? Do we depend on WHO, CDC? Who do we depend on? One would say, well, listen out to the scientists. But they would, in my opinion, I would say they would tell you what they want you to hear. So how would we know that this vaccine is safe? How will we know that it is safe for our children to take? But we have a call. Good morning, caller. You're on
Hey,
the
good
air.
morning, Devon. How you doing?
Good morning, Miss Henry. I'm doing quite fine.
Oh, yes. I want to give God thanks, man. I was busy getting ready for a funeral. I have to go
Oh, okay,
this
okay.
afternoon, but I was listening. One of my fellow members from the Association of Persons with Disability, Doris Joseph Henry, will be buried this afternoon. So I was making sure I get myself together, and then I heard all of this thunder and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot. So I beg the Lord, please hold up the rain.
Yeah, some heavy rain came down earlier
just
today.
like Jesus, you know what Jesus said about it?
Pardon?
You know, do you know what Jesus said about that? He says, let the dead bury the dead. Lord Jesus, I love you. I love you. I love you, Jesus. Try for all of them. Try for all of those who love him, you know. Don't know what you're missing. No, taste and see that the Lord is good. Now, let me get to the virus, the vaccine. If we would take the time to listen, some of the questions we ask would be already being answered, you know. But we don't listen. We speculate. There are many sources that you can listen to. You don't have to listen to one. CARICOM, you would have heard, CARICOM has a position on it. WHO, there are more than one. They have already said who will get it first. It will not be the general public. They say first choice would be the frontline workers. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did, yeah.
People in the armed forces and the most vulnerable group. Those are who are going to get it. Because the quantities that they would need to give everybody cannot be produced. Not right now. So unless you're frontline, because they are protecting the people. What is the effectiveness? They give this in, you know, when they say 94% and 90%, it means if you have 100 people, 10 persons, it would not be effective. And 94 out of 100, 6 persons. Just like how anything we should get TB vaccination, we get measles, we get smallpox, we get all of those. And with everything, they have to come up with an antidote. So we need to learn, listen and learn, because we're speculating. America first, they say, you know, each country looking out for itself first. That is why you find that some agencies like the Caribbean, we're not going to get right away unless they're going to use it to test. And it has been in a testing thing. I think Jamaica up to enter into the pilot program. You heard about that?
I did not. No.
I didn't know that. Yeah, because they already, that is how they know the effectiveness, you know. They did a testing. You know, in America, you could sign up to test things on. Some of them pay you. Yeah, I think I heard that in Jamaica, they're going to have a pilot. So, you're healthy and strong, it's not for you. What is for you and I is the mask. But some of us don't want a mask. Some of the people talking about, the vaccine, refusing to put on a mask, a simple thing as a mask. If all of us mask up and do our best and whatnot, then there'll be no need for the vaccine, you know. And with winter coming, they're now into the winter season. Most of it will be going into that country into those countries. Because generally, you have the outbreak of influenza, what we just call cold,
Yes.
during this season. So it compounds the coronavirus effect. So if corona don't get you, influenza get you. And there are people who get their influenza shot every year when winter is coming. So eventually all of us will get it. All we have to do is wait and see the effect. That's all, you know. TB and all of those other things would have been rampant. It would have been rampant. St. Kitts has had 100% immunization record. Are you aware of that against the diseases then?
Yes.
We would have been sick. I don't think sometimes people stop to think, you know. Look at our infant mortality rate is good. That is why we are ranked as a first-class country. It is because of our GDP, our health status. When last year a child died. In the old time days, you had to get 12. If you get 12, you expect to get 6 alive. That's why women went out and got so many. They were looking at the probability of the child surviving. Because the children were expected, one, to help with the work, and two, to support you in old age. Look at our children, how healthy they look. Have you ever seen the child march in St. Kitts?
Yeah, it's
Man, you want to never go to a factory.
Hundreds.
Thousands.
Many thousands.
Huh?
Right, here in St. Kitts and over in Nevis as well.
I don't just say, look, it's a good thing some of them have passport to leave. Otherwise we will be in deep trouble. Every year, these thousands of little children in preschool, healthy looking, as the former CMO said the other day on another station, that the pediatric wards will be empty or nearly empty. Why are they so?
That's a good thing.
They get the vaccination. From the time the child born, they drop the polio drop in the child's mouth. They give it the, what they call it, the something C. Oh, gosh.
The vaccination? You said what?
No, well, you could get it by drops, you know. Like polio is drops. That's vaccination, you know.
Yes.
You had to get injection and then get drops. This one that could affect your liver and whatnot. You know, I mean, all of us, you can't get into primary school unless you get all, you know. You have it right?
Yeah, that's true.
When you leave preschool, whatever your mother didn't let you get, you either get them or you go to a private school, and private school may also demand it. So all I would say, let us wait. I would not want us to be in the first rush. You understand? I would want us to be maybe in the third set. After countries would have gotten it, it has been reevaluated in terms of its efficiency or efficacy, if you want to call it so. That is what. But we are killing up ourselves, stressing up ourselves. We're not a candidate. You know, we're not a candidate like somebody who's not 18, arguing about, we're going to win. You know, and abusing about. Labour and PAM and ULP and PLP and the 14 and the 15 and then primary school yard arguing. That is how we got to listen and learn. And as you say, everything has a side effect. Everything has a side effect and nobody know who.
Yep.
So it is up to us to build up our immunity. That's what it is, you know. It is up to all of us who have diabetes. I have diabetes. And, we got to work on it because we don't have to guess. We have seen on our television the impact on people with these non-communicable diseases. So it is up to us to do what we can and to the healthy ones to protect yourself. Now that some of us working in hotels, remember your people home?
Yes, that's so true.
They're busy arguing about vaccine. When we have people who could just bring it home, you have heard cases now. I think I heard one on the news, maybe Dominica or Jamaica. This person came in was negative. They came in with a negative PCR. They were tested again, negative. They got 3 negative, and on the 14th day they were positive.
Yes.
You know, and so when all the taxi drivers were driving the people, somebody, this is giving me hot. You're either hot or you're dead. And then the hurtful thing is they're going home to carry it home. Or we think children get it. There are some children who are asthmatic, you know that. Usually the children who get it are children who have some kind of a thing like that.
Yeah, some respiratory illnesses or something.
A lot of children have asthma, allergies, a lot of smoke and whatever in the ear. We're not thinking about prevention. We're thinking about cure. Simple thing. You know, you're driving the taxi and you're walking up the airport and you're lifting up the suitcase or whatever. Even though they say they're going to fog it, wash your hands clean. When you go home, take off the clothes, them either outside in the something or something, and bathe and so. There'll be no need for vaccine if we don't go and contract it or spread it. All right, then.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ms. Henry, for your input here on Voices. We had a very good discussion this morning about the COVID-19 vaccine, COVID-19 virus, whether it should be mandatory, and, of course, there will be side effects on all of this. Countries that would have this vaccine first, who it will be made available to first. Of course, the Prime Minister did announce that the government made a down payment to secure the vaccine for St. Kitts and Nevis. Will it be mandatory? I don't know. These are questions that we will have to ask. Would persons have that choice of saying, I don't want it? We don't know. Who would determine that this vaccine is safe? Thank you guys so much for listening to this edition of Voices here on 1FM 98.9. I was your host, Devon Cornelius. We are going to break for the news right now, and we are going to return around 12:30.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the Win FM Headline News. The Win FM Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, Carib Brewery, CNC Trading.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
In a release from the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, an autopsy was performed on the body of 62-year-old Arthur Bell, also known as Arthur Jacobs, of Ponds Pasture on November 16th, by resident pathologist Dr. Adrian Nunez. Dr. Nunez concluded that Jacobs' death was as a result of multiple shock and multiple trauma injuries. Subsequently, 44-year-old Inshan Mohammed of Pine Gardens, Shadwell Housing, was arrested on Tuesday, November 17th, and charged for the offense of causing death by dangerous driving. According to the release, Mohammed is accused of causing the death of 62-year-old Arthur Jacobs of Ponds Pasture, with whom he collided in a traffic accident on November 13th, 2020. Mohammed is currently in police custody. Mr. Jacobs died after the accident on the Bay Road Friday night, November 13th. The accident occurred on the Island Bay Road near Seoul Station sometime after 6 p.m. Mohammed was traveling from Bird Rock towards Central Bastair after passing the main entrance of the Seoul Station and collided with Jacobs. During Parliament on Tuesday, November 17th, 5 bills were presented on the order papers, and after much deliberation and clarification, 4 of the 5 bills were passed. The Income Tax Amendment Bill 2020 had its first reading with clarity from Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris, explaining that the Income Tax Amendment Bill does not introduce new income tax to the Federation. The National Disaster Management Amendment Bill, which had its first reading on October 15th.
Those against, the ayes have it.
A bill to amend the National Disaster Management Amendment Bill 2020, otherwise known as the National Disaster Management Amendment Bill 2020.
The bill has been read a third time and passed.
The COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill, a bill to provide for public health and for other interventions to prevent, control, and to suppress the transmission of the COVID-19 virus and for related matters, was a heated matter, but still passed.
Question is that the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill 2020 be read a third time and passed. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it.
A bill to provide for public health and other interventions to prevent, control, and suppress the transmission of the COVID-19 virus and for related matters, otherwise known as the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Bill 2020.
The bill has been read a third time and passed.
The St. Christopher and Nevis Mutual Exchange of Information in Taxation Matters Amendment Bill 2020, which had its first reading on October 15.
Question is that the bill entitled the St. Christopher and Nevis Mutual Exchange of Information in Taxation Matters Amendment Bill 2020 be read a third time and passed. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
A bill to amend the St. Christopher and Nevis Mutual Exchange of Information on Taxation Matters Act Cap 20.60, otherwise known as the St. Christopher and Nevis Mutual Exchange of Information on Taxation Matters Amendment Bill 2020.
The bill has been read a third time and passed into law.
And finally, the Public Health Amendment Bill 2020, which had its first reading on October 15th as well and was brought forth by Minister of Health et al., Akila Byron Nisbet.
The question is that the Public Health Amendment Bill 2020 be read a third time and passed. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
A bill to amend the Public Health Act Cap 9.21, otherwise known as the Public Health Amendment Bill 2020.
The bill entitled the Public Health Amendment Bill 2020 has been read a third time and passed.
CARICOM community education ministers were reminded of education's critical role in the post-COVID-19 economic recovery as the 25th special meeting of CARICOM's Council for Human and Social and Development opened Tuesday. CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque reminded the meeting that there is no economic recovery and resilience without an education system designed to strengthen workforce capacity and innovation, and stressed the need for a regional system that is responsive, technologically enabled, and geared towards the skills and dispositions needed to shape and advance the society. He noted that the health emergency is threatening the progress made in the implementation of the CARICOM Human Resource Development 2030 strategy, which was designed to create that workforce. Ambassador LaRocque indicated that the CARICOM Secretariat has been collaborating with member states and development partners to coordinate a range of activities to support the new focus on technology-enabled instruction and social and emotional skills. These include webinars to guide practices to support teaching remotely, learning in a pandemic, assessing learning, providing social and emotional support and care for students and teachers, and a safe transition back to school. There was also the publication of a regional framework for the reopening of schools in the Caribbean, including schools for learners with special education needs and guidelines for technical vocational education and training TVET instructions and implementation of Caribbean vocational qualifications in the Caribbean during COVID-19. The meeting, which was held on Tuesday, November 17th, 2020, was expected to examine the imperatives of human development post-COVID-19 in the Caribbean and the development of digital skills in the changing skills landscape.
The reopening of the Bastia Fisheries Complex set earlier for Friday, November 20th has been postponed to a date to be announced, according to the St. Kitts Nevis Information Service. The reopening of the complex was reportedly tagged among activities earmarked to observe World Fisheries Day celebrations on Saturday, November 21st. In an effort to gain clarification as to why the reopening was postponed after news of the postponement broke, WIN contacted Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Marine Resources, Mr. Ron Dublin Collins, Tuesday afternoon, November 17th, and he stated that they were waiting for the reports on the investigation to return. They will first have a look at the report before announcing the date for reopening, which may be next week, the week of November 22nd.
Okay, yes, it is accurate. There has been a hold place on the reopening, to allow for one, the completion of all the areas that we have identified for adjustment. Most have been completed satisfactorily, and we are currently doing some training with the staff, meeting with fishermen, going through the new protocols and so on. So we want to ensure that we allow enough time. We allow enough time for that to be completed. In addition to that, we await the final submission of the report on the incident, and then we're good to go. We'll be open in the next, hopefully maybe next weekend, once we get everything in place. But there's no major issue at this time, just to ensure that we get everything in place.
On November 2nd, a press release from the ministry stated that it was investigating reports of fish poisoning in St. Kitts, particularly at the Bastia Fisheries Complex. In this regard, the ministry suspended its fresh fish program until the source of the alleged poisoning was discovered. It added that all the necessary steps to address the reports were being taken, including the removal of all fish from the complex and the sanitization of the facility. World Fisheries Day celebrates the contribution of small-scale fisher folk to food, nutrition, and the income security of millions of people around the world.
The two GRA customs officers who were held as part of the probe into the cocaine and scrap iron bust have been released from custody, but they now have to report regularly to the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit. The more than 11 tons of cocaine was found in Belgium in a shipment of scrap iron from Guyana. The container was packed mostly with parcels of cocaine. The customs officers were held because they were the ones who operated the scanners on the day that the shipment was loaded here in Guyana. There was an initial request to keep them in custody for additional time, but when that time expired, a decision was taken to release them. Several images that would have been taken as the container moved through the scanner were deleted from the scanning system, according to the investigators. Efforts to retrieve those images have failed. Head of KANU James Singh today said the search is still ongoing for the shipper of the container, Marlon Primo. A wanted bulletin was issued for his arrest. The businessman has not been heard from or seen since the bust took place, and KANU believes he may be out of the country. Local investigators have been working along with the DEA office in Guyana and the Belgium officials on the $1 billion bust, which the Belgian authorities have described as the largest overseas bust in its history. The shipment left Guyana in September, and based on the amount of cocaine found in the container, investigators are convinced that several players in the local drug underworld may have been involved in the shipment.
This is what the eye of Hurricane Iota looked like from the sky. But on the ground, it brought more devastation to Central America, already battered by a major hurricane 2 weeks ago. Iota unleashed torrential flooding and winds of 250 kilometers an hour on Nicaragua before reaching Honduras on Tuesday. It left a trail of destruction as the military struggled to bring people to safety. 40,000 were evacuated from their homes in Nicaragua, 80,000 in Honduras.
No tenemos para dónde agarrar.
We have nowhere to go. We can only hope that God will have mercy on us.
Iota made landfall just 25 kilometers from where Hurricane Haida hit 2 weeks ago, killing more than 120 people. This time the death toll might be considerably lower after Iota was downgraded to a tropical storm.
The preliminary report we were given deals with toppled trees, light posts, and electrical lines. Also roofs of destroyed homes and businesses.
Iota first pushed over the Colombian islands of San Andres and Providencia on Monday. It is the strongest storm to hit Colombian territory on record.
I spoke with the mayor of Providencia. He gave me information about the damage, which we were able to see from the flight. Up to 99% of our infrastructure has been damaged.
There's been an unprecedented number of storms and hurricanes this season.
It has turned out to be even worse than we thought. It started earlier and is going to end even late. For example, continued flooding in countries like Guatemala, Honduras, in Nicaragua is going to affect the incoming harvest. And this will severely strain subsistence farmers. And already, whilst it's still early days, it is quite clear that this will extend the emergency even into mid-2021.
But for now, the attention remains on the still heavy rains that could bring more flooding and deadly landslides in the region's already saturated soil. Alessandro Ampietti, Al Jazeera.
After almost 6 months, the Democratic Republic of Congo has announced the end of an Ebola outbreak in the country's west. And health authorities are looking at how they can apply the lessons learned there to the fight against coronavirus. The DRC's Ebola outbreak, which infected 130 people and killed 55, emerged in June, just weeks before a separate Ebola epidemic in the country's east drew to a close. That one killed more than 2,200 people, the second most in the disease's history. Health Minister Eteni Longondo attributed the success of the response to the availability of vaccines and treatments, as well as efforts to move treatment centres closer to local communities. The World Health Organization said that medics vaccinated 40,000 people in communities scattered across rainforests that often lacked electricity. They also used cold chain technology to keep vaccines at temperatures as low as -80 degrees Celsius. The Red Cross and Red Crescent societies also said it would apply best practices such as the use of rapid response teams of local volunteers to coronavirus. Congo has suffered 11 Ebola outbreaks since the virus was discovered near the Ebola River in 1976. That's more than double any other country.
That was the WinFM Headline News, brought to you by KDP Enterprises, Caribbean Alliance, Carib Brewery, CNC Trading, The Grange.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB, live, love, be. With LLB, live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB, live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business property, we got you covered.
or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Do you know your indoor air quality? Did you know that mold and bacteria particles are floating in the air you breathe and can cause illnesses? Steam can purify all indoor surface areas. Steam and air purification will allow you to breathe easy. Breathe Easy is the name of a business which promotes pure indoor air quality, offering professional sanitization service for residential, commercial, industrial, and public spaces. The air quality will be tested prior and post-service. Our team will delicately scrub your air so you can breathe easy. Call today for assessments and bookings at 667-0557 or 765-4925. So give us a call and breathe easy.
The presence of a mid to upper level low coupled with a tropical wave along with available low level moisture and instability will maintain a high chance for shower activity over and around the islands during the next 24 hours. Possible rainfall accumulations could reach 0.5 to 1 inch during that time. Today, partly sunny skies at first, becoming increasingly cloudy with a 70% or high chance of showers and a 40% or moderate chance of isolated thunderstorms. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 50% or moderate chance of showers, mainly before midnight. Winds east-southeast at 8 to 15 knots, with lighter spells overnight. Seas not exceeding 1.5 meters or 5 feet. Sunset today will be at 5:35 p.m. Sunrise tomorrow at 6:18 a.m. That's your weather forecast for today. Comes with the kind compliments of Breathe Easy.
Do you know your indoor air quality? Did you know that mold and bacteria particles are floating in the air you breathe and can cause illnesses? Steam can purify all indoor surface areas. Steam and air purification will allow you to breathe easy. Breathe Easy is the name of a business which promotes pure indoor air quality, offering professional sanitization service for residential, commercial, industrial, and public spaces. The air quality will be tested prior and post-service. Our team will delicately scrub your air so you can breathe easy. Call today for assessments and bookings at 667-0557 or 765-4925. So give us a call and breathe easy.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
It's the 3 Happy Days free Christmas clearance at Hospice Building and Nevis Centers. This Thursday, November 19th to Saturday, November 21st, with 25% off store-wide on all discountable items. Happy deals, happy savings, happy discounts, happy days at Hospice. This 3 Happy Days weekend, Thursday, November 19th to Saturday, November 21st. 25% off store-wide on all discountable items. Hospice 3 Happy Days for Christmas clearance weekend sale. Thursday, November 19th to Saturday, November 21st. Don't miss it. Happy Days at Hospice. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the second half of Voices here on 1FM 98.9. Good afternoon to all our usual and, of course, our first-time listeners. This is 1FM 98.9 and I am your host for this afternoon, Devon Cornelius. And we are continuing our discussion about the COVID-19 vaccine, of course, the COVID-19 virus, coronavirus disease of 2019. And I was just made aware of some alarming news that Jamaica has surpassed the 10,000 COVID-19 case mark with 60 new cases of the disease and 2 new deaths recorded in the last 24 hours. 10,000 cases of COVID-19 right there in Jamaica. 60 new cases of the disease and two new deaths recorded in the last 24 hours. My heart goes out for our brothers and sisters over there in Jamaica who they're battling with this pandemic, and the community spread is it's overwhelming. The community spread is overwhelming. We're seeing community spread right there in St. Lucia, in Trinidad and Tobago, and these countries are grappling with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of the countries are not facing these predicaments with community spread. Nevertheless, we really have to be vigilant, and we really have to, safeguard ourselves and protect ourselves from this virus. It's real. So let's not say that the COVID-19 is not real in here, so we ain't got to wear a mask, we ain't have to social distance, we don't have to wash our hands. Let us do the right thing. We have a call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on Voices.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius. You had good lunch, you sound so.
Yes, it was a healthy lunch.
Yeah, man, you sound like you had granny them lunch. Joy potato and yam and breadfruit.
Something like
and
that.
Swank.
Something like that.
Yes, man. I could tell you're a naturalist, and I like that. I want to draw an illustration. Now, according to this corona business, this year has affected the whole world. Just like how the sun shines on every part of the earth. And we all know how deadly it is. Whether you try to protect yourself and it gets your immune system so low and weak, that's it for you, brother. Uppercut and body shot you're going to get. And if you pull through, you're good. But saying this, let me come back local, who I'm here now. And excuse me if I have to use our local dialect. Now, some people have a problem with the decision that the government take, which the Prime Minister is at the head. When the Prime Minister prepare some money aside for this, what they call the vaccine, that when this vaccine come available fully, that everybody have a chance to purchase and have vaccine for their country. Lives, L-I-V-E-S, it matters more than anything else. And if you don't have no life, you don't have nothing. Well, the Prime Minister is following what the Bible say. The Bible simply say, those little creatures what they pull and pinch and tear call ants. The Bible say the ants are a people. They don't talk like us. But the way they operate, if you sit down and watch them when they walk in, we will learn a lot from them.
That's true.
Every man in one accord, same line, same footstep. If they meet a big pan bread up the road and they mean they want it, they're going to walk and head it in the hole till they're done. And what they're doing, they are preparing for when difficult time comes around. They got food in there, they could stay in the house and eat. They don't have to run out and do like cricket. Cricket don't work. Cricket jumping up and down the place, but tweet. Now, suppose the Prime Minister play careless and don't prepare nothing. It is just like a pharmacist. They prepare the drugs or whatever they're selling in the pharmacy. Because people going to come with all kind of pain and she have them there. They come and they say, me ain't got nothing. Shut down your place. So, what the Prime Minister is doing with the money, he's looking ahead that whenever these medication come, they're available to everybody, to put your hand in it. At least you can say, well, we got a small change, put it here. So let me buy some. And we put it here for who, WHO, who wants it, is there for you. If you don't want it, no problem. So that is what I have to say about the Prime Minister putting the money there. So all you got a problem with the Prime Minister putting money there as preparation to purchase this vaccine. They know better, They know better. But a lot of them just talking against that there for politics. And they should not do it. They should not do it. They should educate people who do not know certain things. What them they know. Politics can't help her when the master come back here, Cornelius. Because the boy be saying, when he come in and you're not ready for what he want, he going to be a load of weeping, crying, bawling, screaming, and knocking teeth. And who not got no teeth, knock gum. Or you're going to be too late. Thank you, Brother Cornelius.
Thank you, caller, for your input. We have another call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on Voices.
Knocking teeth. And who not got no teeth, knock gum. You're going to be too late. Thank you, Brother Cornelius.
Thank you, caller, for your input. We have another call. Good afternoon, caller.
Caller.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes. I want to say something what Culture just say. And he is so true. Because people don't be complaining, talking about how when they go to the hospital, they can't get this and they can't get that. No medication and this. So now the corona going around. If the Prime Minister enjoy to prep himself, that's the same thing you want to say. Oh, he said he got a surplus and the corona going around and he ain't put nothing for the vaccine. So I support in Culture what he said 100%. That is so true. People, I need to just pray to God and just let everything go safe with this vaccine. It just if you go to the hospital and the hospital find that you're sick and you have to do operation or whatever, they're going to give you the drugs according to your body weight and according to your age. The vaccine ain't going to kill nobody because I made to understand they're going to give it in 2 doses. Instead of 1 full one, they're going to cut it in 2. So people, they're complaining all the time. When this thing come out first, everybody they want to know, when this gun is, and now things come in, looking good for the people, them in saying it, let them complain. They complain too much, they need to go pray. And I want to tell the Prime Minister, anywhere God send you, you go and do the work of the people. Okay? So that's all I have to say today. Culture, I'm backing you. We in it together, so we only can make it better. Bye.
Thank you, caller, for your input here on Voices. We have another call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Brother Colinius. Good afternoon. Sorry, brother. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon,
Hello?
caller. Good afternoon. I can hear you.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that with the radio. No, brother. Well, I hear a lot of things, right? Coming from people in the country. And right now, we're corona free. You understand? And we're corona free because of the work of the CMO and the government. You understand? If we never had a caring, taking Prime Minister like that, I believe the country will wash away with corona. We don't know what's going to happen if the borders open right now. But let me pray to God that this don't take place, the outbreak don't come like other countries. When I listen to some people, because the Prime Minister went in a church and make a presentation about the same vaccine, saying all kind of negative thing, the Prime Minister not Christian. But I want to tell those people who criticize the Prime Minister talk about he ain't a Christian, and he ain't call up on the pulpit to say this and say that. I want to tell, if them a Christian, may the Lord Jesus Christ. Because sometimes the riot, some of them, when they come out of the radio, how passionate and riot some they sound. You understand? Imagine when they're home, in the house with the children and the husband or whosoever. You understand? If they could come on and the radio and behave the way how they're behaving. No, this is a situation now. Everybody got to get serious. The vaccine put in place. Come to the last call, everybody was saying when the vaccine will come out, the vaccine will come 2020, this, that, 2021 and all these things. Now something put in place to the vaccine to introduce. They're saying all kind of things. Anyway, when the vaccine comes, right, I going to be the first one to purchase it if I got to purchase it and take it. You understand? Because I really don't want to die now. I believe in the Lord Father Jesus Christ. I believe in my Bible. I believe that I'm doing the right thing. Everybody see the situation out there in the outer world. We ain't think it's safe for now. Let me thank God for that. Do not come on and try to ridicule the man because the man went in the church and he talk about the vaccine and talk about wherever. I'm not a Christian, but I'm a Christ believer. And I do and believe in Christ. And I do more than any one of them who come in and talking about God. Because I contribute to the poor and the needy every day. All I don't got it. I try to give somebody something every day. But you have a wonderful day. God bless.
Thank you, caller, for your input here on Voices, right here on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host, Devon Cornelius, and we are still taking your calls here. We are talking about the COVID-19 vaccine, the race with the health professionals all across the world to bring an end to this COVID-19 virus by introducing a vaccine. It is going to be made available to countries all across the world. Who will get it first? We don't know. But we are still taking your calls. But just before we continue to take calls, we're going to take a short break and we will return.
Paint it, tile it, improve it. Your walls, paint it. Your floors, tile it. Your home, improve it. Huge savings at the Hossford's Building Center. Paint it, tile it, improve it. Sales event happening now. Yes. Come to Hossford's Building Center now and get savings of 25% off all paint and up to 75% off all tiles. Yes, yes. Enough things are gonna keep at Hossford's with up to 75% off piles of tiles in all styles and 25% off all paint. Come now and get a chance to win $500 shopping spree at Value Mart with the purchase of 5 gallons of paint or more. That's right. Buy 5 gallons or more of paint and you get a chance to win $500 in free groceries starting now until December 31st, 2020. It's your home, so paint it, tile Tile It, Improve It at Hawksworth Building and Nevis Center's year-end Paint It, Tile It, Improve It sale. Come now, save big, and simply paint it, tile it, and improve it. The event starts now and ends December 31st, 2020. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Yes, welcome back to Voices. We have another call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, brother Cornelius, I get warm up with my sister Jacqueline and Mr. Politic. I get warm up. Now, the same Bible what everybody follow. You know what the Bible say? Go out in the highways and byways. You know, say the highway one, you know, highway and preach the gospel and compel them to come in into Christ. You know, in the house. So therefore, anywhere you get anybody who say they're a Christian or whatever, and they get a chance to preach the gospel is what you call truth, not fake and false. You're supposed to do it, spread it. It's an exception. If you don't do it, you can't talk about the gospel down there. Anywhere you be, you can talk about it. So if the Prime Minister go in a church building and he tell people about the right thing to do, you know, when they're going to say, you must take it. He just tell them the danger of it and what it requires if you want to live a little day longer. Now I'll show you something. A lot of people believe that they're more holy and righteous than the Bible, the Word of God. But at the same Bible say, in one of the scriptures, a multitude of people catch one woman. They say they catch her down there in the act. How can one person be in the act of adultery? In the act, you know, then they say, well, they catch her down there thinking about adultery, you know, contemplating to go do adultery, you know. They catch her in the act. That means the multitude of people, they present to the say, well, oh, we so sinless, we holy, we good. So let me carry she up here. Go let Jesus know, well, according to Moses' law, she's supposed to be stoned to death because we catch her down there sinning. Simple, wait, fine. Are you accuser? Come. In the first place, Jesus could have asked them, well, if I say, are you catch her in the act? A ready man. A woman can only be in the act of adultery if she's doing it with a man. But when she thinking about it, no, you know what she think about unless she tell her you. But he simply saw them, look, man, are you crucified the woman? Which one are you better than she? Which one are you in the crowd and got nothing? Leg of the first stone after the woman. As righteous and as holy as there was, all of them, not one of them dropped, not even a stone big as a marble. The amount of stone they had in the pocket and they had trodden on the ground. A backhoe had to go there with a truck to load up them stone where they had to kill the one woman because they're so righteous and the woman sinless. So people, the Prime Minister, whether he's the Prime Minister or not, every man have a right to talk about Jesus Christ anywhere they go, our God, the Creator. Why you want to call it? There is no exception that people cannot speak about it. That's why they have tracts to give out to people anyway. So people think before you talk and come on and accuse people. Thank you, Brother Cornelius, again. That's all I had to come back to say.
Thank you, caller, for your input here on Voices, 1FM 98.9. The phone lines are open and we are still taking calls for your questions and opinion. We have another call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good afternoon. You're on Voices.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. There are two aspects to this vaccine question that I would like to comment on. One is the health aspect and the other is the political. First, the health. Generally, it takes somewhere, around roughly 10 years before a vaccine emerges on the market. I understand that, because it's not just about getting something that can work, it has to be shown to be safe. How do we know, for instance, that just like the incubation time for symptoms for COVID can be up to 2 to 3 weeks. Similarly, the only way that we can know that side effects can't lay dormant for up to 5 years, for instance, okay, is to wait for that time, especially if the vaccine involves all kind of fancy scientific terms like recombinant DNA, because when we start messing with science at that molecular level, all kinds of strange things happen. As a matter of fact, isn't it the theory that, or conspiracy, that COVID was manufactured in a lab? So here we have a vaccine that is apparently 95% effective. I would hate to be in the 5% who the virus, the vaccine cannot help, okay? But be that as it may, I am sure the vaccine will be accompanied by all sorts of provisos and exemptions and special requirements. But all of us should be concerned that a process that usually takes about 10 years have been accelerated to take just months. Okay, that in itself should make us very cautious.
Right.
Especially when it's really the product of a race among the giants, the pharmaceutical giants like Pfizer and Moderna.
Yes.
You know, because their motive is capturing markets and profits. Okay, and they've been pushed to come up with something fast because of the effect of COVID on the economies. The second aspect is the political. I have consistently said that we need a plan to manage this COVID. And from the outset, we did not have a clear plan. We have been managing COVID essentially by the seat of our pants and just responding and putting out fires as they come up. Okay? We've been pretty successful and lucky, okay, thank God. But that is a fact. Up to now, there is no clear plan, okay? There are critical policy decisions like how to approach the vaccine, who will get it, will it be mandatory, who will we buy it from, and are we going to wait for recommendations from CARPHA and the WHO on things like the acquisition and the distribution and the application of the vaccine? These are political policy decisions, okay? And they should be considered right now rather than wait until the vaccine is ready and then agonizing over what we should be doing. And I maintain that our approach to the whole COVID crisis has been wrong from the outset. We should have removed the politics from it from the beginning. It was too political, and not just locally. I'm talking regionally and internationally as well. Okay, and what we have now, it has descended into every man for himself, every country for himself, right? Every region for himself, for itself. You know, we have different protocols. Now we're going to have lots of different vaccines. Who is to say which is the best one? You know, it's one big mess as far as I can see. But let's see how it works. You know, we like I said, was kind of lucky that we were one of the smallest countries. So naturally, the effect on us we would have been able to manage it better than most. We had that advantage. But now that size may work against us because if we say we don't have COVID here, then we're probably not going to be priority for the vaccine anyway, or the cure when it eventually comes. Okay, so it's a double-edged sword. But let's see what happens. There are lots of unanswered questions, and it would be good if we could take the politics out of it and come up with the best solution that all nations could buy into. And it should have been a United Nations-driven issue because it's worldwide. It affects the whole world. I think the WHO is a UN agency. They should have been the lead from beginning to end, all right? Because success in one country does not translate to success in the other countries automatically. And similarly, if one particular country is having a tough time, it could easily spread that to a country that was previously a success. Okay? So we need more coordination, take out the politics, leave it as a health and scientific matter, and I think we would have been better off. Okay then.
Thank you, caller, for your input here on Voices. We have another call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Brother Cornelius, good afternoon again. I believe that we elect these men in government because they're capable enough to do whatever they got to do for the people of this federation. And these men ain't going to just bring the vaccine and ain't consult with whosoever out there, the professionals them. You understand? They ain't going to just introduce a vaccine like that. And we got doctors in the government, we got lawyers, we got different people in the government who know what is going on in the outer world. So I believe that these men ain't going to just get up and just put on the vaccines upon us. They're going to engage with other companies, with other people, where how the money going to work out and what quality of vaccine, you know, we're going to could afford to buy or whatsoever. You understand? So I do not think no politics in this thing. Who want to put politics in it is their business that. Because some people go up on different radio station and put politics on it. Some people that come on and talk like there's the Lord Jesus Christ and want to see things done. And when the government try to do what they got to do to help the people in the country, they're still saying all kind of negative things. So you cannot listen to some people. One time they come with something, and something like they sell up the country and they sell up people, and the next time they come different. Put away politics. No politics in this. Who put in politics in this? It's those who opposite. Put in politics. If you listen to the parliament yesterday, you could see big that who put in politics in it. Because each and every one of the members on the government side try to let the people them know. The Honorable Lindsey Grant, the Minister of Tourism, he outlet to the people. You understand? What the protocol will be, what's going to take place, what's going to happen, what we'll do. The young doctor is sending the command, and she said how hard she worked in the crisis. You understand? The opposition was talking about people about overtime and then getting a pay and all these things. You understand? It's a matter about pay right now. We're in a crisis. And everybody, you love your country and you love the people. You go overtime for them, whether you get paid or not. And this the situation with some people always want to try to turn things the way they want to turn it because they are in favor of the government. Brother, you have a wonderful Jackie. In St. Radio, you have a wonderful culture. You big up. And all to the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. I just want everybody to just go to the protocol. The country open up now, and we got to be careful. Put on iron mask. We iron mask. Sometimes I jump on somebody's passenger bus. Just me one India got on a mask. Police officers, I try to do our work. Brother, Cornelius again, you have a wonderful day. God bless.
Thank you, caller, for your input here on Voices on 1FM 98.9. We are still taking calls when we are talking about the COVID-19 vaccine, the COVID-19 virus. Yes, the Prime Minister did announce last Sunday that the government has made a down payment for the COVID-19 vaccine. And I think it's only fair that persons, get to ask or are allowed to ask their questions. Of course, I always believe in being respectful whenever you do that. But of course, persons are allowed to ask their questions because persons will have concerns about the health and safety of this vaccine, and we should understand that. At the same time, it's just my opinion. Just my opinion. You can't force people to do what you want them to do, But we have a call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. We lost that call. Caller, you can call us back here, 1FM 98.9. We are still taking calls. The phone lines are open. Yes, but, for health and safety, Is the vaccine safe? And these are questions that people will have. People will have these questions. You're gonna hear these questions every day because you would want to know. It's just like if you're taking a regular drug. If you have a headache or something, and the doctor gives you a medication, you're going to ask that doctor or nurse or whoever gives you the medication. You're going to ask them as much questions as possible. You would want to know if this drug is safe, what are the side effects, how long should I take it, when should I take it. These are questions that we will definitely have because at the end of the day, it's for our own personal health and safety. But we have a call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Greetings.
Good afternoon,
Not
sir.
only people should ask questions, but people should come to a conclusion for themselves, come to a decision for themselves, individual decision concerning this vaccine. It cannot be like like we don't know what we're doing. Every smarty, each individual, not only free to question what is going on, but make up them own mind concerning this matter. One of my brethren, them out in the far out, it's between somewhere in England, somewhere about England and somewhere. He said that he was informed that a fetus, weeks old fetus, of a white child is part of the ingredients of the vaccine. That is a very serious thing. Very serious. So, with all of these information going around, it is, as I said before, it is important to come to everyone to come to them decision about this vaccine if it become available. We are the Prime Minister said they paid upon it. I noticed he said that 3/4 of the money is from us, and the other part come from some agency, some donor out there. Well, that is another reasoning, because I want to know if the money is there. The 3/4 of this 80,000 couldn't go to something like food security, farming, immune system upping up. Yeah. We would have preferred if the money they go towards that. But the administration make the decision for all of we and put in 3/4 of that money there in advance for vaccine. Let us see if that is a good decision. Time will tell. Give thanks for the reasoning, give thanks for the program. Blessed love.
Thank you, caller, for your input here on Voices on 1FM 98.9. Yes, we are still taking your calls. We are having this discussion about the COVID-19 vaccine. The Prime Minister did say he made a down payment. Other countries are making preparations. But we have another call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, Brother Cornelius, I return. Brother Cornelius, in the Caribbean, when we first heard about that great international virus called AIDS, HIV/AIDS, it was between 81 and 83. We heard about it. And the advice was, okay, they tell us 2 persons popular in the world, they died from it. A black man and a white man. One of them was a movie star, and one was a great sports player. I ain't going to call the name of the sport, otherwise people going to know who we're talking about. Those two are the first person they notify, inform the world, died from this AIDS. And then, all the precaution advice that they were given, they were saying, they may talk in colloquial term now. If a man want go have sex with a woman, put on your clothes, not go naked. Interpret what that means. Cover your penis. That otherwise you could catch the AIDS from there. And they also say, no suck tongue with nobody and kiss. Because you get it from saliva. And you could get it from blood transfusion. So a lot of people, if they never take precaution, a load of them will be dead. Because they will go in, go be naked, and they catch it right there. They will shut the iron, drink and drunk and hug up and do all kind of thing, and they will catch you right. But everybody want to live. And so therefore, all who want to look sex, they do it the decent way. Even husband living house with wife, one ask the other one, go put on your cloak. And they say, me and you, a husband and wife in here, the boy, I must put on my cloak. The boy will say, for better, for worse. Me not got it. Well, me must go put on my cloak. Me not going to give you no sickness. But everybody take precaution and they live long. So why can't we take precaution with this more deadly thing and that there? You know how to go touch, you know how to go hug up somebody to get AIDS. But you just walk and somebody sneeze and he come upon you. I mean, this epidemic thing here, this pandemic thing here could kill you. This is worse than that. And like I say, nobody want to dead. All we know we're going to dead sometime. But so therefore everybody going to try and protect themselves in whatever way. Now when you hear nigger with a load of big talks, you know, they don't want dead, you know. When somebody only hear pow pow, so much of them now run on the bed. They don't want dead. So when them come on and criticize and talk about where the Prime Minister I do this and that for Corona. Suppose he was ignorant and say, man, to hell with who dead. Me not said nobody go get no Corona. Protect yourself. Me not prepare no money to buy no medication and keep them there. Me not in that. But he's not ignorant. The man has got a vision. And he care about human lives. And also care about the country. He cares about these things. That is why the Corona stay away. Like how we keep away from us. Because he and his government, they are not careless people. And people must get real, man. And don't put politics in everything. Even though some of them put politics where they were working. Put politics in the school among the children. When the children them supposed to get the education, it's because they were so sucker and political breasts. Why the children them were neglected from getting the education. And now they come talking about politics in it. Politics is what? Politics now in this year, man. Keep that out of it. Everybody a soldier right now, yeah. All of you fight to help keep the Corona from killing people. Killing your brother, your sister, your auntie, your nanny, and your tanty. Nobody wants to see nobody dead. Whatsoever we can do to help somebody save their life, let us do it. Let we do it, man. Come on, nigga, man. What happened to you, man? For a little political power, are you going to come down and ridicule and pull on righteousness? And keep up wrong thing? God forbid, man. This should happen. But yeah, happen. Brother Cornelius, you have a good day. Hear me. God bless you.
Thank you, caller, for your input here in Voices, 1FM 98.9. We are going to take a short break to say thank you to our sponsors, and we will be right back for Voices.
It's official! Friday, December 18th and Saturday, December 19th are VAT Days. But you can come today and get pre-approved credit for VAT Day. Save some of the hassle of this VAT Day and drop by some of your local Hosford department stores today. Yes! Come to any Hosford department today and get pre-approved credit for December 18th and December 19th. No down payment necessary. That's right, zero money down. And no payment until February 2021. That's right, no payment until February 2021. Come to Hosford's today, where we will be dropping major discount plus pre-approved credit when you shop now. How, you ask? Well, it's simple. All you have to do is visit any of the Hosford's departments, including furniture and appliances, Ashley Furniture Home Store, Building and Nevis Centers, and the Automotive Division. Make your VAT Day wish list, and we'll do the credit check. Come back on VAT Day and get all that you picked with your pre-approved credit and be on your way to a merrier Christmas. Whether it's new furniture, a new stove, or a brand new car, Hosford is giving you pre-approved credit today. Be on your way to a merrier Christmas. Pre-approved credit today for VAT days December 18th and December 19th at Hosford. Visit stores for all details.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Voices here on 1FM 98.9. I'm your host, Devon Cornelius, and we are still taking your calls. The phone lines are open, and we are having this discussion about the COVID-19 vaccine. Very interesting discussion, but we have another call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Cornelius. You know, with all what's going on, right, I just reflect on something. There was an administration was in office for 15, 20 years, something like that. And an individual say at a time when our youth were dying by gun violence, something to this line, me not take no blame. I am not responsible, something like that. I wonder if our present Prime Minister have done something like that. What would have been the response to the general public? Thank you.
Thank you, caller, for your input here on Voices. We are still taking calls. We're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine, the rush, the race around the world to get a cure for this deadly disease. When we look at what's happening around the world, and of course right here in the Caribbean, our Caribbean brothers and sisters, they are grappling with the effects of this pandemic. We have community spread in other countries. We have community spread across the globe, of course. And apart from the community spread, people would have lost their jobs. People lost their jobs. And, I mean, it's a sad state of affairs in the Caribbean. But nevertheless, good things are still happening. I mean, the fact that you woke up this morning, that's good news. So give thanks for life regardless of the situation that you are going through. But at the same time, as I said earlier, in regards to this whole vaccine situation, this whole vaccine thing that's ongoing right now, much public concern, much public debate. And it's necessary. It's necessary and it's definitely important. It's definitely important because you should not walk into things blindly. And you should not say, well, I'm not going to ask any questions about this. I'm going to take it because they say I must to take it. I'm not going to tell anybody, don't take the vaccine or take the vaccine. That is your decision to make. You have that choice to make. You have that decision to make. But ask questions. Feel free to ask questions. And you should not be afraid or intimidated. Ask your questions. Is the vaccine safe? Whatever questions you deem necessary. Then, of course, you have that right to ask these questions. At the end of the day, it's for your own health and safety, your children, and, of course, persons around you. When COVID-19 came in March, many persons thought that by, July, I think it was by July, August, we thought that everything, would have been back to normal and everybody would have been going back out to work, and that's what we thought. We're now in mid-November. And COVID-19 is still here. We're going to enter Christmas. And I was just telling a friend of mine, Christmas is going to be quite different. Christmas is going to be quite different, How would you celebrate Thanksgiving? How would you celebrate Christmas with the coronavirus disease? Well, we have a call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on Voices.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You see, certain things get out of proportion when political side gets into it. Maybe if he was a doctor, said what you're talking about, it might have been different. But you know how it is. I could only speak for our country. Politics has a way of dominating everything, and then the whole interest of things get lost. I hope you understand where I'm coming from.
You repeat that, sorry?
I said, because of the vaccine, the discussion that they're having and people calling me, I'm saying, maybe if it was a medical practitioner who spoke about the vaccine and whatever, blah, 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 going on the whole line, it might not have been having this discussion. But because, let's say, it was a minister of government, because that's the political realm as opposed to a professional realm.
Right.
So people are not seeing the medical realm, they see the political realm.
Yes, yes.
Therefore, as far as they're concerned, they are deaf to the medical realm and open to political realm. And therefore, you have this for and against, as opposed to how serious is the coronavirus? Is this thing that they're talking about really could, whether it boosts my immune system, prevent me from getting, remove the coronavirus from my system? That is not the discussion what you have. I don't know if you realize that.
Yes.
It's about from a politics comments that was made from someone who's in the political realm. So no one knows what the vaccine will do, but the person who would have done the research could give you an idea. But not even that question is coming about. Everything is on something else. It is the political element. However, I must say, we are individually responsible for our lives, and that is why we elect politicians to collectively as a country protect the country, because they do not do it, people will still say they're not doing it. So you see why sometimes for these medical things, maybe the medical professional should be the one who bring in this message, and the political arena come with something maybe to back it up with finance or whatever they say they're going to do. But to go into it as to describe it and so, leave it to the professionals. Ayers, this debate you're having might always be happening because the message of what's supposed to be will be get lost and overshadowed by the political arena. That's why my comment I just have to say is that politics is not everything. Life continues with or without. And if you don't realize our life is more important than certain things and preserving life, you're going to have a problem. And the discussion about what you're talking about will always be there. And the message. Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you, caller. And I must say I agree. One would thought that an announcement like that would probably come from a health professional, maybe the chief medical officer or someone within a health professional here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And of course the public, and you know your comment sparked some thoughts. Going forward, I know the public will anticipate, or persons are anticipating public discussions or town hall meetings or something of that nature on this whole COVID-19 vaccine. Because I don't think we should just announce that there's a vaccine and then have no consultation, no talks with the general public, just to get a feeling, as to how persons feel about this whole situation. And so you do have a point there. Maybe if it was made by a medical professional, then all these questions would not be, going around. But we're having the discussion to, hear or listen to the feedback of persons within our community as to how they feel about the vaccine, or the COVID-19 vaccine, and their thoughts about it. But I do hope that in the not too distant future that there will be some sort of public consultation on this COVID-19 vaccine, and to sensitize the general public, let persons know the specifics of this vaccine and what they are to expect. How do we know if it's safe? Who is it for? And questions along that line. So definitely it would have more weight to it if it was from the medical professional, or to offer the medical professional rather to back up what the Prime Minister said last Sunday. And so maybe if that was done earlier, it would not have sparked this debate and public concern. But most naturally, people will have questions. And even if it was announced by a medical professional, you will still have questions. You will still have questions, because this vaccine, it was created by the scientists. They are the professionals. They are the experts. But you realize there are still questions. There are still questions. And there will always be questions. And you have that right to ask, to find out, and to make sure that everything is in your best interest. But we are still taking calls right here on WinFM 98.9 for another edition of Voices. We are winding down to the 1:30 end time. It is now just 19 minutes past the hour of 1 right here in our studios, and we are wrapping up this discussion about the whole COVID-19 vaccine, the race. I say it's a race, and I would say that this happened really fast, though. It happened really fast. There's a vaccine here sooner than we thought. But it's good news. It's good news. But does it mean the end of the virus, though? Does it mean the end of the virus? These are questions that people are gonna have. When you walk through Charleston, you walk through Bastia, people will be asking these questions. But I don't feel so safe taking the vaccine. How this go, how that go, how this go. These are questions that people they're going to have these questions, and nobody could vex with nobody if they have these questions. Because I wouldn't encourage anybody to do anything without making sure everything is safe. But we have another call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Good afternoon again.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, you just made mention of something about something to do with like consultation. I use that word where they go and ask people, questions and figure out to analyze, assess, whatever it is, how they feel about this and if it is safe and so on. Don't you think these questions, queries are a bit late? Don't you think so?
Well, you see, I mean, for me, I would never say no questions are too late. It's just that, of course, persons will be, the general public will be looking forward to have a discussion about this.
Would it make a difference right now?
Vaccine. I wouldn't say it would make. I would say it will make a difference, because there are persons out there who are not really educated about the whole vaccine, and persons who probably don't have access to do their own research, and so it would provide. It would be a benefit. Let me say that it would be a benefit to those persons who don't have access to do their own research about this whole vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine.
Right now, the only thing that is left is whether this vaccine will be made mandatory.
Yeah. But that's the biggest question.
Everything else will be irrelevant. I did not get a chance to listen to all of what whatever was took place in Parliament yesterday. But correct me if I'm wrong, because, like I said, I wasn't in a position, but something I heard in the news, didn't it say the bill concerning this COVID thing and keeping the people safe, wasn't it that passed? Wasn't it passed already?
The COVID-19 prevention and control bill. They had I think I have
Isn't
another.
that already passed?
No. Wait.
No?
I don't think so, no. I would have to back check
No?
that.
I thought I heard something like that in the news saying that it had already been passed or you had the third reading or something like that. Correct me, because I don't really know the jargons and technicalities of all this parliamentary thing. But I thought something they say was passed related to that. Like I say, I stand to be corrected. I don't own any monopoly on knowledge, information, or whatsoever. I'm only one person. I don't have 10 years. I have only 2. So I can't be in every place and I can't
Yes.
hear everything.
We all do, and we're not gonna know everything
Wasn't
in
it
life.
already passed?
If we're not gonna know everything in life, so I mean,
Okay. Wasn't it already passed?
I would have to check that. I'm not sure.
Coincidentally, an announcement was made in a church on Sunday. The next day after, parliamentary hearing concerning something like this, and apparently it seemed like it is passed. Nobody was consulted about all of these things and whatsoever.
Okay, so just
People are going to have whatever feelings they want concerning whatsoever, because to me it seems like nonsense and common sense is relative to up and down. You see?
Yes.
Out or in. But everybody has a right, and I put that in inverted commas, to ask questions and to choose. All right? We are no better. We are no different. And another thing we are going to hear about over about 800,000? That was already put down now to hear that
Yeah, $800,000.
quarter of that amount came from some foreign agency.
Yes, but not to cut you off. Just in regards to your question, it was actually passed. Yes, they had some lengthy deliberations, and the bill was actually passed. The COVID-19
All right.
prevention and control bill.
I believe I'm correct, but like I said, I speak with reservation because I don't know. Somebody else might know more than I do. So, in terms of public consultation, what's the use or the relevance of them now? Does it make sense? To me, absolutely not. The only thing that remains now is whether persons' right to accept will be clipped. That's all that is left. Because if it has already been done, talking about the consequences of a vaccine, I mean, under a year you get a vaccine that takes so many years to develop. And now we're told 90-something% effective with no side effects. Well, what kind of vaccine is that? What kind of vaccine is that? Does this have anything to do with what they say surrounds COVID-19, whatever they say? What happened to cold and flu? If persons were told before that there is no cure for cold and flu, but this thing now has cold and flu-like symptoms, how come all of a sudden there's no cold and no flu? And how is it you're going to have a vaccine for, well, it seems like the vaccine is the panacea for everything, because it seems like once you get the vaccine, you should not be affected anymore, because that is the duty of a vaccine, right? I think so. Once you're vaccinated,
Yes,
it's not easy for you to catch
the virus
illness
again.
after that, or the disease after that, right?
Right.
Good. So how is it now you're going to have a vaccine for something that has cold and flu-like symptoms, and there is none for the ordinary cold and flu? And all of a sudden, no cold, no flu, nothing happening anymore. They're a thing of the past. There are a lot of persons, too, who coming out and talking, and they're being blunt to it. That is if they will be alive after they finish talking. But they have their take on what this vaccine is all about and what it's intended for. So who want to continue being foolish, let them be foolish. You understand? Let them continue to be foolish, and who is wise will continue to be wise. But I don't think that persons have that authority to speak for other people. Some people need to understand that they need to stay in the lane and they need to hold a place, speak for themselves. They cannot speak for everybody. If they're going to talk in general, well, it's different. General is not for any one or two persons specifically. It's general. But the angle that some people take, I mean, it's so appalling to listen. It's so appalling to listen. Well, anyways, I'll stay there. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you too, caller. Thank you for your input right here in Voices, 1FM 98.9. We have 2 minutes left. We're going to take just one more call, and we're going to wrap up. We have a call. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I know me how much, but you mean to tell me so much things said in Parliament yesterday and some people only hear what they want to talk about? This lady just full of tricks and gimmicks. So yeah, she hear everything, but that is what she want to talk about. And I hope that the barbecue chicken them, because they say the animal them are getting it too, so I hope that they ain't had to get a vaccine. See you.
Thank you, caller, for your input here. We're going to take one more call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, greetings. Very prophetic song a while ago from my sister, and the wise more wise and the fool more fools. That's what she said. With all due respect, I don't think that the government, the administration, the present administration within St. Kitts and Nevis will make the vaccine be mandatory. No, I don't think we're going there. So let us leave that alone. I really don't think so. I don't see it happening. So let me don't speculate on that part there. Everyone have to decide, as we said before, that have to come to their own decision, as we said before, pertaining to the vaccine. Everyone, every smarty. When with the small vaccine time, you also got a lot of dictating. Why go take your vaccination and well, people who are in that category up to our time, like people dictate to them concerning the vaccine, that is something that will, when the time comes for that, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how people react. I used to run away. Even when they tell me to take vaccine, I don't know if this generation into them think they are running away or could take the vaccine. Some people used to go take it in our times. Then they used to give us. But in terms of, let me repeat that, in terms of vaccine being mandatory, you must take it. Please, leave out that part of the waste then. You beg on, yeah? Blessed love.
Thank you for your input here in Voices. We have reached the 1:30 hour, so we're going to end this program right here on FM 98.9. This was another edition of Voices. Thank you guys so much for your calls, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Good afternoon, and have a wonderful Wednesday. Continue to enjoy life, give thanks for life, and continue to do your part in protecting St. Kitts and Nevis from the COVID-19 virus. I was your host, Devon Cornelius. Until next time, see you.
Yes, it's the 3 Happy Days free Christmas clearance at Hospice Building and Nevis Centers. This Thursday, November 19th to Saturday, November 21st, with 25% off store-wide on all discountable items. Happy